The guy.
Guy. Okay. You like him? He's a good teacher?
I have a D in his class.
You have a D?
Yeah.
How's Mom feel about that?
We had an argument about it last night.
Oh. Tell me about that.
We talked about it. Basically, she's like, I can't be doing this. And I was like, well, I got all A's and B's last quarter. I can pull my grade up before the end of the semester. And she was like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't act so cocky. I'm like, I'm not. I just know I'm capable of doing things like that.
Sergeant Pagliari has honed his skills when it comes to reading behavior, and he's picking up on some strange behavior from Gregory.
One thing you said you'd like being you want to be a detective someday. And in my personal experience, when people start a story and then they go into the blah, blah, blah part, that there's more to the blah, blah, blah. So if you will, Greg, tell me what the blah, blah, blah part was for this argument.
Okay, well, basically, she was just kind of like, whatever, you act narcissistic sometimes, don't be so cocky.
Using the word basically tends to indicate that someone is leaving something out. This, combined with Gregory's nonverbal behaviors such as self-soothing head rubbing, scratching, possible eye blocking, and his one hand tightly across his stomach in a protective and guarded posture, all seem to indicate that he's feeling a lot of anxiety.
And I was like, well, I'm not cocky. I'm capable. I feel like I have the skills because I've done it before to fix my grades in a short amount of time. And I was like, I probably could fix them by Friday and stuff. And I was talking to her about that. And she was like, all right, whatever, go study your biology. And I was like, all right. So I studied my biology for about an hour. And then I went into her room, and she was on the phone with Dad. I said, hi, Dad. And they hung up, and I said a prayer with her for a good night. And said our, whatever, our billion hours for Grandma, for Uncle Joe, and stuff like that.
When people say and then, or jump to parts of their story by saying and, repeated a few times in a row, it tends to mean that they're going through events like the very words, and they're usually leaving something out between the ands.
And I was like, I'm probably fix them by Friday. So I studied my biology for about an hour, and then I went into her room, and she was on the phone with Dad. I said, hi, Dad. And they hung up, and I said a prayer with her for a good night. And said our, whatever, our billion hours for Grandma, for Uncle Joe, and stuff like that.
Pay close attention to the moments when Gregory says and then as the questioning continues.
Then I kissed her, and I went to sleep. Okay. That was around, I went to sleep around 11. That is when I woke up playing.
Okay, when was the first time somebody called you about, or did anyone call you about your mother not being at work or anything like that?
I received no communication from anyone about that.
Okay.
With Gregory's school day seeming as normal as can be, the sergeant inquires about what he found when he got home that afternoon. Gregory gives some indication that he's feeling anxiety around the questions of what happened when he got home by fidgeting with his fingers, making anchor point shifts, and doing some self-soothing rubbing on his arm. It's important to note that an innocent person might also experience anxiety with these questions, as coming home to such a house after a robbery would be traumatic. However, it's still going to be noted by the detective.
How long would you say it takes you to get from the bus stop to your house?
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. You weren't running or anything today, were you?
No.
Okay.
Gregory makes even more anchor point movement shifts as this line of questioning starts, moving his leg up into a barrier position and engaging in some self-soothing as well.
Front door was locked, used the key. Mom's car was in the driveway?
Correct.
And you told Detective Jones it was running.
It was running.
Is that odd?
Yes.
Is it odd the fact that your mom's car is even there at all?
Yes.
Why?
Because she works at the Sunrail station, and then she takes her bike on the Sunrail to go to her job.
How long do you usually get home?
6:30.
Car's in the driveway and it's running. That's weird. The car's there at all. That's weird. You agree?
Yes.
And then you use the key and you open the door. What do you do? What's the first thing you do when you went inside?
I noticed that there was all over the floor. A bunch of like crap everywhere, just thrown everywhere. And then the closet doors were open, and there was stuff spilled on my table. I just noticed that the front view of my house was chaotic.
Spilled on the table. Where?
On the table.
What room's the table?
Oh, my house, you go through the front door, and there's this hallway, my room is this way, and then there's our dining table right here. And the next thing we did was we went to my room, and I noticed that there were things going on, and that there was dressers and crap, all that crap that was pulled out and went everywhere.
What's missing from your room?
Maybe I didn't really look thoroughly for like everything in addition to my room, but I noticed 3 things in particular.
What are those?
My stereo system.
Describe what they are. So 3 things.
It's
Stereo system. What's that?
It's like a radio with 2 large speakers and it lights up LED blue.
Do you know who makes it?
Zero clue.
Zero Clue is pretty popular.
Yeah, I know.
What's the other thing that you're missing?
My gaming computer
Is it describe it to me?
is white, has a glass side, and inside you can see the wires, the graphics card, and all that stuff inside. So it's
So it's like a tower, not a laptop?
it is, yeah. Big boy.
Attach it to a monitor. That's how you play.
Yeah, I paid for my own money from summer jobs.
I'm pretty pissed off that's gone. Spend all your money that you buy this computer tower, now it's gone. So,
This is an interesting moment. It appears that Gregory doesn't want to show anger about his missing things, so he deflects it back to his missing mom to appear like the appropriately concerned teenager. But it all seems a little forced.
what's the third thing?
I noticed my 25, I forget the weight on it, but it's on illegal combat.
Combat book. This one needs to talk to me. You can talk to Detective Jones.
While Sergeant Pagliari steps out of the room to make some calls, Gregory chats with Detective Jones.
When do you think my house will not be a crime scene? I don't know. Sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes almost a day and a half. In the worst cases, like where I am, it takes a while. The more information you can give them, the better off. They know what to do. Like I made a lot of bad decisions in my life, which regards to other things.
His answer here immediately grabs Detective Jones's attention, and he moves into the confession position. Gregory must have noticed because he quickly clarified with regards to other things, but it makes you wonder what exactly is his sponsor thinking in this moment.
Now, Mom's gone. Like, I don't think I can try with myself. Oh, wow. I don't know, we did take hostage and put it out. I do too. I can't imagine what it'd be like. Have you guys had your argument with her last night? If you was here right now, what would you say to her? I would say, oh, it's such a dick. That's scary. We don't understand each other. But we love each other. Oh no!
Round 3. Fight!
You feel guilty about the fight then? Say you want that.
Gregory makes a big mistake here. He slips up saying he may have just given away not only what happened to his mom, but that he may know more about it than he's letting on. To cover, he starts to cry. But if you're wondering if he's actually upset, notice that he gets distracted and has to brush his hair out of his face. After the detective helps Gregory calm down, Pagliari comes back into the room with more questions, hoping to get any information from Gregory that might help him find his mother.
So you were talking about going through the house. You went down, took some inventory.
Well, after I went downstairs, my mom didn't find her, so I went back upstairs, and I decided I needed to check on the dog.
He's so eager to continue his story that he actually interrupts the detective.
Going through the house, you went down, took some inventory.
Well, after I went downstairs,
He seems pressured to go through what he did when he got home and to explain everything. This is really interesting because an innocent person shouldn't feel the need to explain things. It simply is what it is.
the house was broken into, robbed. I thought there was a chance they killed my dog, but I mean, I didn't know he doesn't bark that much, but I didn't know if they were gonna do that, or like what whatever. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I walked into the laundry room, and I saw everything was like displaced, right? But, my dog was fine. And that's when I noticed the door. The door,
You want to stand to show me?
so, let's say this is the knob for the door, and there's a deadbolt here. The deadbolt was unlocked, right? And this was locked. But this entire wooden area on this frame was looking at busted. Like, the force of the door was so powerful that it had literally broken the wood. I recognized that as someone kicking in the door.
It's odd that Gregory thinks this is something he needs to demonstrate. It's more likely that he feels the need to burn off nervous energy.
Why do you think that?
Because either that or they somehow forced the door open, but it had to be a strong enough force to break this, break a lock. Basically, it has to be strong enough to do that.
Sure.
So,
Did you think that?
yeah.
The force and everything you're talking about here is just because of that, based off your explorer training?
Common sense. I just assuming, just thinking out loud, like, you have to be able to be, like, either strong enough or there needs to be, like, a certain amount of force for the wood, like, a door frame to, like, basically, like, crack and, like, make the lock give out.
As Gregory draws out a layout of his home for Sergeant Pagliari, he mentions something odd that he noticed in his mother's room.
I made it to the master bedroom, and it was just really bad. It was terrible in there. And one thing I noticed was that the bed was an 18.
What's it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be straight on.
Now,
There's a dresser here. There's a dresser here. There's a bookshelf, and there's a mirror here, and there's a dresser here. And that's the bathroom on top of that. That bed was out of place. That's one of the major things I noticed. The bed was out of place.
There's been a shift in how Gregory answers these questions, and he's much more open to talking about things that have nothing to do with his mother.
So after I surveyed the house and looked at my mom, I called the cops. Pretty sure you know the rest of the story.
yeah. Did you see, there's one thing I want to ask you about. You said you came home from school and you wore different clothes to school. So you went through the whole house, you did all this surveying and everything. At what point did you think it was pertinent to change your clothes?
Alright, let me tell you. So, I was sweating my ass off, right? I was really hot, and
Instead of just answering the question directly, he goes into a long story to explain his actions, which is another sign that he feels nervous about what he's saying.
I told my ex this, but I got in the house and I felt sick. I couldn't find my mom. I was freaking out. I was just would not know a good place. And so I went to my bathroom and I threw up in the toilet. And I then proceeded to flush and throw up down, and then I took off my school shirt and I changed it to a different shirt. I didn't know if there was any throw up on it or not, but I was feeling hot and sweaty and I needed to change it.
Where's your shirt at now?
It's my hamper.
Where's it? Okay.
Sergeant Pagliari clarifies one final detail before diving into Gregory's story. If things seem a little odd so far, then get ready, because this is where things start to get even stranger.
Detective Jones was talking about the marks to your face, and I want to talk about that one a bit more.
Alright,
When did that happen?
can I ask what relevance this has to the conversation?
Everything is relevant, Greg.
Asking about the relevance is the kind of thing you could expect to hear from an experienced criminal as a deflection, or from a savvy adult with a lawyer perhaps. But this is unexpected awareness on the part of a young, seemingly football team. He sounds like a defense lawyer here, not a kid. It also shows that he may be fishing to see what information they have.
Now they're going to say, hey, listen, Greg's mother's missing. Greg has marks on his face. Is it possible that Greg got in some kind of altercation with his mother? Right, they're going to ask me that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can explain when you got those marks on your face. Good.
Yesterday,
Yesterday? What time?
after school,
Where at?
student parking lot.
Okay. Who did it?
My friend Joe.
What's his last name?
It starts with an L.
You have a class with him?
No. He's older than me, but he's what? He's older than me?
Older than you. Okay. Joe L. Older. White male, black male, Hispanic male.
White.
Okay. What grade do you think Joe L. is in?
He's a junior.
How long have you known him?
Year and a half. Not gonna explain the situation to you because it probably looks like I got my ass beat.
Go ahead, please.
Tell me what happened. Alright, so at homecoming, Joe's ex-girlfriend was attempting to ride on me. I don't know if you know what that is. Tell me what it is. It's like when you have well, I was hanging out with my friend. My other friends, right? And they're being grinded on, right? But I don't have a girlfriend, and I'm kind of more focused on other things, and I don't have time for that. And so his ex-girlfriend, Joe's ex-girlfriend, kind of grind on me, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. And she's like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. And so she did it, and I kind of let her, because I wanted to fit in, I guess. But Joe found out so he came to me, and he slapped me and he punched me. And he goes, dude, what the hell? You know why would you do that? And we talked to that, and I basically explained to him that I was at fault. I shouldn't have done that. I value you more than those other people. You know, I value what we have, and I wouldn't want to end that. And I want you to understand that I'm sorry. And that I didn't want to leave you. And he was like, you know, it's kind of a dick move for me to come up and hit you without any pretext. So I'm sorry that I did that. Then we hugged. I said, see you tomorrow. That was it.
Is there anybody else there saw us?
No. Not that I know of.
Not that I know of is a selective memory statement, but Gregory's entire story is full of red flags, starting with the neck rubbing. It's not particularly believable that most teen boys would get in a fight like that and make up that quickly, never mind hug and not even know each other's last names. Either Gregory actually has no clue how normal interactions work, or he thinks the officers are that naive and dumb that they will believe this story.
So you were just in the parking lot. Like, were you walking? Were you hanging out? I mean, how did this... Tell me about how he...
I was hanging out with my friends.
So you were there in the parking lot with other people?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you name somebody with a first and last name?
Brian Torres.